Hello everyone, my name is Ian. Welcome back to my hobby YouTube channel in brief book reviews. So today I'd like to talk to you about an iconic football manager, iconic Premier League football manager, Joe Kinnear. Joe Kinnear was an absolute fantastic manager who done wonderful things with his former club Wimbledon FC. Joe took Wimbledon from the lower echelons of the Premiership. I think he took them in 1991, 92 and was with him all the way up to 1997 when he took his heart attack. I think it was just before the match against Sheffield Wednesday at Selhurst Park. This book is, for me, is an extraordinary story of an absolutely wonderful manager, a wonderful person who done fantastic things, not just for Wimbledon FC but for the Republic of Ireland, and also his youth club as a player, Tottenham Hotspur. Um, this book, Crazy After All These Years, is roughly about 270 pages long, was published and released by HarperCollins in 1997. There's an updated version of this book that I think was released in I think maybe the early, in the late noughties, going in 2011, 2012. It can be all found on Amazon if you want to have a look and buy the book. The book that I read was the original one by 1997, HarperCollins. It basically just starts off without spoiling the book, it gives the story of Joe Kinnear, who was actually born Joseph Reddy, in Dublin, to with his parents his parents having difficulties, as so many couples did at that time in Ireland, had parted. His mother went to live and try and make a life for herself in Watford, over in England, the UK. And that's where the story of Joe's football path and career came to fore. Joe Kinnear was a fantastic, I think it was a left back, who played for Tottenham Hotspur and basically won everything with Tottenham. I think he won everything from the league to the UEFA League, and the FA Cup as well. Having a fantastic career. Yeah, so he then went on also to play for the Republic of Ireland, and would have been played in the team with, I think it was John Giles and Eamon Dunphy also. uh, Around about, that was the age of them at the time, and that. So the book gives reference to the early stages of his life. Then it goes up to talking about his time with Brighton, Hove and Albion. But before that, it talks about his time in, I think it was Naples. He worked for the Naples national team just in the very infancy of his managerial career. And Joe had played with famous players in Tottenham. I think it was Gordon Banks. I think he even played with the Jimmy Greaves, the legendary Jimmy Greaves, who went on to play for Chelsea. Also, he was the manager at that time with the Tottenham Hotspur team, was Bill Nicholson. Bill Nicholson, the famous manager of Tottenham Hotspur, and that. So Joe had an array of knowledge in his managementship throughout his years at playing, not just for Tottenham, these champions, but also for the Republic of Ireland on an international stage. So he went on to Naples, and then he took up the rails at, I think, Brighton for a small period of time, and before being offered a position at Wimbledon by Sam Haman. And that's really where the story, of the crazy gangs really started off. Taken over from Bobby Gold, who had won the FA Cup with Wimbledon in 1988. Joe Kinnear did the basically unthinkable job at the time of keeping Wimbledon, a club who had basically had no hardly any fans. Like, I remember going into these stadiums, and there was like 2,000, and I remember it was going as low as 1,000 or 1,500 against Bolton in the League Cup, or Hereford. You know, this is a Premier League club. I mean, the only ones that have shown that kind of low crowd attendance in recent years was Wigan Athletic, and even that, the Wigan were nowhere near as low as what Wimbledon would have been. So he done an iconic, and I mean iconic, very underrated job to keep Wimbledon up there. I think at one stage Wimbledon were losing €5,000 per day. It's 5,000 sterling per day. So he, you know, it's the story of him being underrated. It will never be told because people won't accept. I think that with Joe, because with Joe, how he became disliked by a lot of people in the media was because he, a club like Wimbledon, they weren't meant to be in a Premiership with Liverpool and Man United. They weren't meant to be, there with the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, but they were. And a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of fans didn't like that. But I remember a lot of fans did like it, and they thought it was wonderful that Joe did that. I remember talking to many fans on the stands, sitting down, talking to opposing supporters of Wimbledon FC, and they're saying, "Look, he's done a fantastic job." We're a bit envious, but he does a fantastic job. And even Alex Ferguson, the famous Sir Alex Ferguson of Manchester United, who had won everything with Manchester United, had praised Joe so much over the years for doing a wonderful job to keep them up all that time. Joe had won many, many Manager of the Month awards also, and I think he was narrowly missed out one season on Manager of the Year award, which in my opinion he should have got. I think that Manager of the Year award really needs to be done on looked at upon resources also, as in budget, before you start talking about managers who have get you, have a wonderful team and they win the league or something, and that, or they knock off, say, someone like as big as Man United off the league who've been winning for 2 or 3 seasons, or Chelsea. I think you have to look at managers where they finish at the end of the season based on their budget, and that really, but that's not going to be the way, and it's never going to change. But if it was Joe Kinnear and say someone like I don't know, Chris Wilder, who had a wonderful season with Sheffield Wednesday the year before last, and they would be winning these accolades. But nevertheless, going back to the book, it's a fantastic book, a fantastic read. I think that everyone should get it. I think that if you are someone who disliked Joe for no apparent reason, I can't think of any reason why you would dislike Joe. I know, there's a lot of stuff up on YouTube about Joe Kinnear and his rant with Simon Board of the Mirror. But Joe was Joe, he said it to his face and told it the way it was. And I think we have a bit more managers that say these things and stand up to the beast, which is the media. Then I think that football on a whole would be in a lot better place, a lot better position in that, than what it is nowadays. So yeah, all in all, I think that the book was fantastic. It goes into the times with the footballers, the crazy gang, the ripping up of player suits, who player suits like John Hartson and stuff. John Hartson coming into his first training session, coming in a suit, and the lads when he goes off and takes the ball to the field on the training pitch, they sneak in and rip his and you know suit up and stuff like that. But yeah, all in all, it's a fantastic read. It's about 270 pages long. My favorite part in the book would probably be talking about his time. When he gave reference to when he was playing really, I think the final of the Europa League or something for Tottenham, and the commentator turns around and says, "Now here comes young Joe Kinnear," like that, and he starts talking about it, and how he chuckled and had a giggle, and also his time where I think he said he was the only one that was single out of all the guys, all his teammates, but they were all going off and having a good time with their what have you, other women and that, being footballers and stuff. And it just it's nice to hear the you see the professionalism from footballers, but they are only humans also. So when they give out information about the good times and stuff, you kind of feel like, I remember that when we used to do that when I was playing football, and this and that. And it was just a nice part of the book when he starts talking about that. And obviously the saddest part of the book for me would be when he had his heart attack, when he was just very on the board of doing something really, really big. He was just getting stronger every season with Wimbledon. And it was just, for me, it was very upsetting and very sad to see the man have a heart attack and then be, sidelined for such a long time. And a very life threatening and very sad experience that for someone to go through, to have a heart attack and go through the trauma of it. He talks about his experience, being in hospital, waking up. He talks about, his dealings with his diet, talking about certain foods that he wouldn't eat no more, bacon going out the window, sausages going out, fries, a whole lot. And your heart went out to him, because he was such a really good manager. And it was just such a shame that it had to end like that. Joe went on actually to promote Luton. He went on years later with Luton Town, became the manager of Luton Town. Promoted him from League Two. Got rid of a lot of players that he thought that were using the club as a DOS, and he got them promoted from League Two to League One. He was unfairly dismissed, sacked. Shinskell, that's another story, because they wanted to bring someone else in. The owners wanted to bring someone else in. A lot of the fans didn't appreciate the fact that he was sacked, the manager, who just got the team promoted, and I think he ended up finishing 10th that season or something. And that they actually brought in Mike Newell eventually, and I think that I won't go into that, what happened to Mike Newell and that, but yeah, anyway, it's a fantastic book. I would recommend it to anyone. I think you would come away from it with a lot of with a lot of knowledge and a lot of feelings towards how football can treat people, and how the whole the it's just a fantastic story. It really is. It's one of the best autobiographies, and it's official autobiography that I've ever read from a football book, football a character. And yeah, I wish the man nothing but happiness and success. I hope he's doing very well now. I hope his health is still doing very well. I mean, this is over 24 years since that happened to that. And but there was a reiteration of the book. It was updated, given his time at Newcastle and stuff. And I haven't read that particular one, but I just wanted to come on and give a reference and a review to the one in 1997. I know it's belated, it's like 24 years, but like it's just one of those books that I read and I loved. And I think that I'd still read books that were published in 1950s, 40s, 60s, just to get the knowledge and the know-how of what was back then. So Joe Kinnear's 1997 HarperCollins book was a book that I really enjoyed. So that's my review for today. I'm going a bit longer than what I normally are, but I just felt that Joe deserved this the credit and the book review. So thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're staying safe in these times. God bless you all. Take care, and I'll speak to you again. All the best.